You guys with that intro music, huh? Here we go. So corny. Need to make a new one. But there it is. Double Edge Podcast. Another week in the bag.
You make this beat yourself?
No, this is default settings that come on the.
Kind of goes crazy though.
Then we gotta fade it out. Fade it out. There we go. Now, I was gonna get you guys know Alex, right? Alex Fico.
Yeah.
I was going to get him, chat with him about helping me because he knows all this stuff so good, making a legit intro for each one of these. So today I got, are you guys legends?
No.
I mean, to me you are.
No. Far from it, but I really appreciate the shout out about that.
Yeah. I mean it from the heart. We've come a long ways in our relationship. I mean, I think, the Double Edge Bandits is kind of a bond there.
It's a staple for sure.
So first, got Ryan. Also, everybody literally thinks your name is Keone.
It technically is part of my name, just the middle part. But yeah, very confusing at the start. Ryan or Key or Keone.
What's your full name?
My full name is Ryan Keone Cabinion.
So Keone is your middle name.
Correct.
So it's not from nowhere.
It's not from nowhere. It's not out of the blue. But yeah, middle name, I've always gone by my middle name.
Because I don't think it was Faye, it was somebody else coaching, and they're like, I can't find Keone in the computer.
Yeah, that just happened last week. She was like, hey, what's your name? And I was like, I'm Key. And then she tried to check me in because I never check in. She was like, what's your name? Or where are you? And I was like, got to break it down.
Yeah, you got to type in Ryan, and then you'll find me. To my left, Carl. Introduce yourself, pal.
Carl Long. Nice to meet everybody.
It's weird, right? Not to look at the camera. We don't have to.
A little bit.
Oh, we're not supposed to look at the camera.
We'll get used to it.
Yeah. So
First time ever.
First time ever on a podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really see you as the super extroverted type, trying to become a social media influencer and, that guy. I see some pictures of your dogs from time to time.
Yeah, that's about it.
He's got a lot of good ones.
That's about it.
But I do see you on the socials screwing around.
A little bit. I can get there.
Yeah. All right. So, little backdrop here. I first met Carl when you were coming to 5 a.m. back in the day.
Yep.
Probably did a couple workouts with you before I started coaching that class.
Yes.
And you're always quiet, always in the back.
Yep.
You had that hole locked down in the far back. Now you've migrated to the complete front of the gym.
Yeah.
But it was funny because Trent was the head coach of that class back then. And when he told me he was quitting and I was going to take over 5 a.m., he was very concerned about you.
Really?
Being okay with it, the change. And Leo was super concerned. Me and you both suffer from a syndrome known as walking dick face. I don't know if you've ever got that before.
I've been told. Yeah, I've been told.
And he was very concerned that we weren't going to get along and that you were going to quit. Yeah. That's the beginning of our coaching client, I guess.
Yeah, I do remember you coming into class and I was always like, who the fuck is this guy? He's crushing it. Obviously, I didn't know you at all. And then Sharon was like, yeah, it's there. He owns the place. I was like, oh, okay.
And that was Fat D back then. That was a little thicker around the edges.
You're still getting after it.
Yeah, that was my excuse. I could still compete in WODs, but it didn't matter. I was carrying an extra 20 pounds of fat.
Yeah.
Not ideal. And then you brought Ryan in.
Yep.
I remember that. Right to 5 a.m.
Right, the worst class.
Worse. I mean, it's
to start.
To be a new person, hard class to go in and fit in. Or it's very intimidating for sure.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I mean, that's a group of people that a big bulk of them have been together for a long time.
Yeah.
They all know what they're doing for the most part. I mean, enough for what we do.
Right.
None of them are trying to make it to the CrossFit games. So they just want to have fun and have a great workout. And you get 30 of them talking trash and shit to each other. And some of the comments that come off, you're like, wait, did you really just say that?
Yeah.
Did that really just come out of your mouth? And I do try to limit brand new people for that being their first experience, unless they're coming in with somebody who's already, a person that's a staple in the class, if you will. I guess, to integrate them.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. I remember when we used to have the scheduling on the app, 5 a.m.
Yeah.
was never available. And I'd have to text you because I'd
Yeah.
always forget to sign up. Like, hey, coach, can I come to class? Like,
I know it was a shit show.
yeah.
It was a shit show when it was on the schedule. And then I did late fees.
I remember.
You remember that?
Yeah, of course, I
was
remember
that with? Were you
Yeah,
here for that?
I remember the late fees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would nickel and dime the hell out of people that didn't show up and
Yep.
signed up.
Yep.
And that got super annoying. And we just made it to where you basically had to be a 5 a.m. member to be in the 5 a.m. class. And,
Yeah.
like today we had, 30 people. And it's a stacked group of committed folks, which is cool. And you've migrated. Don't see you at 5 a.m. very much anymore.
Migrated. Well, now that I don't have a job, I don't have to wake up and get it in before. So my schedule
Just living off the system now, huh?
drastically changed. You know, I get to meet new people, 3:30, 4:35, 30, 9, 10.
You are getting around all the classes.
I am. I'm getting around everywhere in Midtown.
All right. Lucky you're not single anymore. That'd be a problem, huh?
Yeah.
That'd be a problem for-
Big problem. Big problem.
And Carl's not single anymore either.
Nope. Times have changed.
Him and Liz,
Yeah.
5 a.m. She's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a scary, talking about 5 a.m. being scary. I was like, oh my God. Like, I was nervous to bring her to 5 a.m. because I was like, what if these guys just give her so much shit? Or
I feel like she can hold her own, though.
she can, for sure.
Yeah, she's definitely gotten comfortable.
Yeah.
And she's pretty cool. Obviously, I'm not like the most coaching person at 5 a.m. in the morning with that group, but no, I mean, she keeps up with the class well. She keeps up with everything well, and she's like really fit in. She's been really
Yeah.
cool to have around.
Yeah.
You tend to bring pretty cool people in. There's
for
only
two.
been a couple AWOLs.
If it's anyone at ITS, you got to
It's 50-50.
Yeah.
We had that one guy you brought in for Murph. That I don't know if I ever saw him again. Is like this really? You guys are bringing him for this first
Oh.
workout?
Paulus, maybe?
Yeah, that was our friend. He used to work at ITS, and he actually just moved back to Reno, but at the time he was living in Sacramento, and he would pop in and work out with us whenever
Alright.
he was in town. So it wasn't like a committed member, or not going to be a committed
Alright.
member.
Because I thought that was one of the most messed up things a friend could do. So I remember one of you text me like, "Hey, I want to bring my friend today." I was like, "Really, Murph?"
I mean, he did it,
He did it.
and he didn't complain. But that's the kind of person that he is. He's kind of a grinder, so we felt okay doing that to
All right.
him.
That's fair. So, tell me a little about yourself. Start with Ryan. Like, you did sports in college.
Yeah, no, I played baseball for most of my life, so just been around that constant year round of competition and being outside and playing with the team. And I went to college up here, played for UNR for 3 years, ended up graduating from here, and then got a job at ITS right up the street, and that's kind of what stuck me here in Reno.
I mean, they're like one of the, what do you want to say, boiler rooms of collegiate athletes, aren't they?
Yep.
Seems like that's where they recruit a lot of their staff from.
They love to snatch them young and fresh out of college when they don't really know any better, but they know kind of the work ethic and around the clock kind of deal. So it kind of makes it work.
I mean, in all fairness to just the logistics industry, the people I know at various places, it seems like an industry that is a freaking grind.
It's absolutely a grind.
It's not easy, to say the absolute minimum. It's not easy.
And what's your story? Are you from Hawaii?
Yeah, so we moved here when I was about 10 years old. Been
Right.
here ever since. And
So technically you're from Nevada now because
Yeah.
you've been here since you're 10. But
Yeah.
still got that 808.
everyone on my dad's side still lives back in Maui, so we go visit every year. And
Does your cell phone start with 808 or
no,
775?
I'm sorry. I didn't have a phone that young.
Oh, you didn't?
I didn't get a
Hey,
phone
that's
till
kids
high school.
nowadays.
That's
Yeah.
a different time.
That's kids nowadays getting cell phones when they're 6 years old.
Yeah, I literally didn't get a phone until high school, so it was a little bit different growing up for me.
So wait, you moved here from Hawaii when you're
Mhm.
10.
Yep.
Then did you wrestle? I know your brother does.
I did a little bit, but not like my younger brothers. They're state wrestlers and
Yeah.
did the whole nine. I was just in love with football, and that's all I wanted
That's
to do.
where that's where your squatting strength comes from.
Yeah, was playing football, and I ran track. But then the reason why I didn't wrestle was because I wanted to snowboard. It was weird, but
Bro, that's not weird at all.
I was like, I'd be at wrestling practice, and then like it's snowing. I'm like, fuck, I just want to go snowboard. And I was like, you know what?
I didn't even learn to snowboard until like middle of high school because of wrestling. Like you can't do it.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't risk injury, so
Yeah.
didn't really do it much.
Yeah. I mean, looking back, I did wish I would have stuck with wrestling from a young age and stayed with it, but you know,
How come?
what it is. I just think wrestlers have, I mean, you have a different mindset as a wrestler. I mean, obviously you would know. And it's just the most demanding and most challenging sport that I feel I've done because it's strictly individual, obviously, right? One-on-one, you know, mano-a-mano. It's like, I don't want to lose. Like, I'll do anything in the world not to lose.
Yeah, you don't like losing.
Team sports is, you know, a little different. Obviously, I don't like to lose in anything. And, you know, as an athlete, you shouldn't. But wrestling was way different. The challenge, like, I was way more, like, I don't know, nervous or whatever before a duel, before, you know, any other football game or track meet I ever had. So,
I mean, I totally agree. It was extremely challenging. A bulk of my adolescent life. Got to hang up the jersey. It was 20 years ago now, but it definitely. So I want my son to be involved in it, even though I'm trying not to like relive my life through him. I'm trying to find that balance, but it does. There's no question. It develops a ability to suffer.
Yep.
Like none other sport that I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, the hardest workouts I've ever done and gone through is
then you do it.
Room.
Maybe 2 days no eating, maybe a full day of not having any water because you got to make weight
cuts.
And it's not healthy.
No.
Like it's not healthy, but the mental muscle that's developed is, I mean, my ability to suffer comes from wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally different.
So then you went Spanish Springs High School?
Damani. Yep.
Oh, fuck. I got turned around. Spanish Springs is way out in Sparks. So South Reno.
Yep.
Went to Damani.
After high school, I went to junior college, played football in the Bay. Oddly enough.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Played against his junior college team.
Yeah, right over the San Mateo Bridge.
Right over the bridge. Beat the hell out of him, by the way. But
well, that's because I wasn't quarterback of the team. But
wait, you played college football for a year?
No, but if I was,
he played baseball at the school.
Yeah,
that I played.
Oh, until you went to UNR.
Yeah, I played in junior college for 2 years before I went to UNR, and it was when I met him. He was like, "Oh yeah, I went to Chabot." I was like, "No way," because we played Chabot all the time, and it's like a 10-minute drive from where I went to JUCO. So that was kind of just one of the ways that we were like, "Oh no way."
All right.
Yeah, small world. We played San Mateo in the bowl game my sophomore season, and yeah.
And then what after junior college?
After junior college, I came back to walk on to UNR. Series of unfortunate events happened with some family dynamics. My grandpa getting cancer, and my grandma getting sick, and then academically, my math credits didn't transfer, and it was this whole ordeal where I would have had to have gone back, retaken a math class to get eligibility and do all this shit. And I kind of just was like, you know what, I got to make the executive decision here and hang them up, get to work, and just kind of move on from there. So
you went straight to It's Logistics then?
No, I worked a year just in construction.
Okay.
Just through one of my dad's contacts, and then started working at Costco kind of simultaneously. I was just working. I didn't know what to do. Hung up the cleats and was kind of lost for a little bit and trying to find my way, and was just working. And then after Costco, I got on at ITS, and then probably a year into that, I found this place.
So you were at ITS for a year before you came here?
Yeah, right around that timeline. And between that time, like I put on probably like 35 pounds or something like that. Didn't touch the gym. Like I was over fitness or sports and all that kind of stuff. And then I was like, holy shit, I'm 215 pounds right now.
Oh, wow.
Never touched that weight in my life. I was like, I got to make a change.
I had no clue you played college football.
Yeah.
Some of this is making more sense now.
Yeah.
And why you can move a barbell so well. Yeah. I've been coaching you for a long time. Got to know you really well, haven't I? Jesus.
Yeah, I don't talk too much about that.
Well, you don't talk too much about much unless unless it's pried out of you.
Yeah, that's true.
Cool. So you both obviously ended up at the gym. You both kind of staples for sure at Midtown. I mean, everybody knows both of you. And obviously, on a fitness side of thing, have a lot of respect for both of you as athletes. And athletes in general, but particularly in the CrossFit space around here, everybody's always asking what Ryan and Carl do. And in the mornings, 5 a.m. Carl, obviously you're the superstar. So you set the standard for the day.
I don't know about that,
But when it comes to fitness, what do you guys think? I mean, start with you, Ryan. What do you guys think of your fitness journey, where you're at now in life, being former collegiate athletes? Typically, the former collegiate athlete is the one to be, you guys are like the quintessential CrossFit guys, right? Former athletes, young, fit. You're the reason that like 50 and 60-year-olds don't think they can do this. Like it's just a young guy's sport who are already athletes. The reality is, like, you guys still push, you still train, but you don't do this for sport anymore at all. Like you never really did. You just are good at it, and you get to be competitive at it, if you will, as much as you want. I know both of you have done a little bit of competing, but what is your fitness journey look like now for you at this chapter of your life?
Yeah, I'd say, just for right now and how I'm looking at my fitness has definitely changed since I started here 5 years ago, as far as the mentality and what I want to accomplish. Because back in the day, Carl and I are coming and probably not taking the best care of ourselves outside of the gym, because
Probably.
most likely
I
we're
know
not.
some of our text conversations.
Definitely we're not taking the best care of ourselves, but just kind of being able to get away with it and still come in here and push and try to move heavy weight, right? And I'd say now, that I'm almost 30 years old,
Damn.
I want
Over
to
the hill.
I want to take better care of myself. I definitely think about the longevity of what fitness can do for me, and kind of, just thinking about, all right, well, Chloe and I want to start having kids. What kind of father do I want to be? And, what kind of family man do I want to be?
Mm-hmm.
So that's taken a toll too, and just kind of really diving into like nutrition and getting more knowledgeable and more curious about those kinds of things has really kind of sparked a new flame in like the way I'm training, and just trying to get after it in a new way, I guess.
Yeah, like reframing different chapter of your life. I mean, I probably told you guys, I know I've yelled this on the podcast and on my Instagram and stuff. Like, I wish I would have been doing what I do now in my 20s.
Yeah.
I mean, arguably, I wish I would have known and had a coach that knew what I know when I was wrestling.
Yeah.
I think it would have been a completely different athletic career, because the nutrition, health, the sleep, prior to the protein, carbohydrates. I mean, I had a wrestling coach tell me, like, don't eat protein because you're going to gain weight. Just eat carbs because we'll burn it off and you'll maintain weight. Like, this is not healthy.
Right.
And so I think it's cool that you're reframing that. I mean, 30 is still really young, bro. Like, I'm feeling better at 40 now than I did at 30. Now, arguably, well, no doubt, than I did in my 20s in college. So I let myself turn a little bit of what Fluffy over here did in college. Post-college, got up to 220-something pounds back then. Thick, and not the good kind of thick. So that's pretty cool. I mean, I've watched you go through a little bit of a funk. I mean, I remember some of the demands with your job. I remember both of you went on your party spree.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, I remember that. And I can't remember if I was in person or text message. You guys were asking me about things you need to optimize, like to do better in the gym. It's like, well, stop fucking drinking every weekend. Let's start there.
Yeah, that was good advice. So you guys should listen to that one. But yeah, we definitely, I mean, don't regret any of those times. I think they were absolutely necessary to end up, like where we're at right now, where I'm at. So, no regrets there.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, I don't have, sure, I wish I would have prioritized some things in the younger years, but you have to, I don't want to like say the younger kids, you need to go out and do this stuff, but I do think there's life value into, what do you want to say, exploring the degenerate side of you a little bit.
There's definitely a balance. Though,
yeah. I definitely think there needs a balance. Like, I don't want my kids to listen to this in 5 years and be like, well, Dad said, when I go to college, I should do these things. But again, as long as you get mindful of it, correct it, and it doesn't become a lifestyle, the liver is an amazing organ. It's the only one in the body that can regenerate.
Thank God.
Thank God. what about you, Carl? What's your fitness chapter of life look like right now?
Yeah, I mean, definitely a lot different from, you know, college and whatnot. And I don't want to say never as far as like, you know, where I was at one point in time, but,
Yeah.
you know, I definitely don't have a desire to squat 500 pounds again or, you know, do certain things that I used to do or push myself in a certain athletic kind of way. But I mean, yeah, like you said, just, I mean, optimizing health. And, you know, I've been hitting you up a lot, obviously, about nutrition. And it's like how important that is, because that's never been something I've ever, like, really dove into or, like, taken into account. And, I mean, just, like, my family growing up, bless them, like, the food we eat, you know, Filipino Hawaiian food is, like, not the best for you. So, like, yeah, I've never, ever.
Yeah,
like,
Hawaiian barbecue is pretty bomb, though.
It's fire.
It's the best.
All that sugar and stuff ain't good for you though. So just, yeah, optimizing my health. I want to be healthy. I want to be 40, 50, 60 years old, healthy, being, you know, be able to move and, you know, live an optimal lifestyle. Sure.
And I think something that resonate with both of you guys is the younger you start and the fitter and stronger you get, the better your rate of decline is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like it, for me personally, it gave me permission to still train like an athlete, but just be smart about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's done well for me over the last few years. I think you get to a point, you know, you think about longevity and want to be healthy for my family. And then it's easy to get like, oh, I just need to go and move my body a little bit. You know, all of a sudden, 5 years later, your walk outside becomes your exercise.
Yeah.
And I personally don't think you need to hang up the jersey on still finding the best version of yourself, but you want to do it without the injuries.
100%.
You want to do it, you know, feeling good. And that's one thing. I mean, I remember you jacked up your back pretty good too.
Yeah.
Preventing injuries is a big deal because then that affects your ability to train.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how my mindset on all of that shifted recently, whereas everything needed to be RX plus as hard as I can, as heavy as I can, you know, as often as I can, to where now it's like, I'm like, oh, like if I'm feeling good or if I feel, you know, I need to not push it today or I'm sore or whatever the situation may be, like I'm in no way afraid to, well, I'm welded today or shit, I'm even build or doing something different, you know, a machine or whatever it may be. So definitely it's crazy to see how my mindset shifted quickly on that in recent years.
Yeah, that's definitely something that's changed too. Just being more conscious and listening to your body. Yeah. That's not something that we were doing 3-4 years ago. It's just like, hey, this is what Warrior is, and we need to get after this, and this is what we're gonna do. You know, it's probably you know may have not been the best choice, or maybe you know doing welded's okay, but also you know that pride with being an athlete and you know being the guys in class where it's just like that's the expectation, is that we're doing the heaviest, we're doing the most, and that's what it's going to take.
No, and I think as former athletes, like it's hard to keep that in check.
Yeah,
it is. Like you're competitive by nature. I mean, you're unemployed now, but your job's competitive.
Yeah.
But it's when you have that type A personality that does drive a lot of accomplishment in your life, and a lot of athletes have that. It is hard to come into a CrossFit gym and refocus that mindset.
Yeah.
Like it really is. And growing in your training maturity, if that's the right word, to start thinking long-term. I've been saying that for a while, like not every day in CrossFit. That's one of the biggest downsides of CrossFit, I think. It's one of the biggest drivers of results is intensity.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest downsides, especially when you get people like you guys and myself or whatever in a group, you're going to get competitive.
Yeah.
And then doing that day after day after day, it's going to it's going to crush you at some point.
Yeah.
And your body's not going to be able to come back from it very well. Unless you're one of the fortunate people out there that can then go to massage, have all your food prepped, don't have work and work stress.
Yeah.
Your sleep is then optimal.
Yeah.
The environment you're in outside the gym is 100% catered to your recovery for the next training session.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think what both of you guys are doing right now, wrapping your minds around long-term health, but not like getting soft for lack of better words. still training smart, still doing cool stuff. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's the goal. I mean, I still want to move heavyweight when I can, and
Mm-hmm.
I still want to get stronger and, do everything like that, just doing it the right way, the smart way, making sure I'm eating better and drinking less and taking care of myself.
Yep. So short term, what's one of your goals in the gym short term?
Short term, I'd say losing weight and gaining muscle has kind of been what I've focused on since the start of the new year.
Yeah.
So I'd say that's a short term goal for me right now.
Body recomposition.
Yeah, exactly.
Love it.
Yeah, same here. This is the first year I've actually tracked or done the
in-body?
in-body month over month. So
Okay.
I've been doing that since January, and
It's been moving. It's been moving.
Yeah, I'd like to get around 10% body fat.
Right.
So
Yeah, I'd like to give my mirror at home a break as well. So
Hey, every morning, just right in front of the mirror. How we looking?
the mirror's just like, come on, man. Come on.
Are you even trying?
Mirror just has his eyes closed, like right when he hears me get up, he's like,
That's funny. We chat about that for a second. I don't think it's a bad thing to train for physique purposes. Try to, look good, move well. I think all that matters. Going from like 14% body fat to 10% body fat's no joke.
yeah.
What are you at right now?
I think the last time I was at around 13,
All right.
12.5 or 13, something like that.
What'd you just hit?
I think it was 13.4.
Yeah, so both of you on that trend down.
Yeah.
Love it.
The physique is hard because, you have an idea of what you want to look like, right? Like
Yeah.
I know what I want to look like when I take
I
my
posted
shirt
your
off.
picture earlier.
Yeah, no, and that was a long time ago.
Yeah, that was college baseball days. Nothing to do with artificial intelligence at all.
that was real, 100%. And I would never come on a podcast and lie.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, those were back to some better days.
Okay, that was back when supplements and stuff were optimized.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, whey protein, guys. I definitely recommend if you guys aren't taking it.
Take your creatine.
Yeah, take your creatine. All driven by creatine. I think what's interesting, men also have body dysmorphia issues, and it's very common amongst females, like extremely common. I literally know some of the fittest women, arguably in Reno, in this gym, who have great physiques and very healthy, very fit, and constantly hate themselves.
Yeah.
They're never fit enough, good enough, something. They want to work this and that, and God damn.
That's funny you say that.
But men struggle with it.
Yeah.
I would say it's just in silence. Like, they're not very transparent about it. I know I do.
Yeah. I mean, joking about the mirror right every day, and like I said, it's funny you say that because looking back, I don't think there was ever a time in my life, like even in my most fit in college, whenever, that I was like, oh yeah, this is what I want to look like. Or like, cool, I'm perfect at this, like physique or athleticism, right? Because it's never good enough, no matter what. And that's kind of like, I feel like where I'm at now too. It's like, shit, I'm definitely not where I want to be, and not where where I need to be. So,
well, I mean, one of my personal goals is to look how I actually perform, because for years it was always, Derek's fit and keep up in workouts and this and that, but always embarrassed to take my shirt off at the beach. Never wanted to. And the whole dad bod thing started to bother me, like in society, like the acceptable dad bod culture. And it really drove me nuts. And so, I mean, obviously things with my daughter forced my diet to clean up, but it's like, you don't have to be like this.
yeah.
Like, you can control your calories, stop drinking, train consistently, and things change.
It's a choice.
It's a choice. It's a choice. And obviously, I'm fortunate enough to be a gym rat, but I mean, you kind of are now. But like, Carl's still got a full-time job, and he still gets it in. And it comes down to a choice. And, I think, lots of guys out there do struggle with body dysmorphia issues, always critical of themselves and this and that. And I mean, you two are some of the fittest people in the gym by far, and still have those thoughts. And people And and people would assume that you don't.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's real.
Yeah.
I can confirm.
Definitely real, but
your mirror can confirm.
my mirror is don't have him on as a guest. we don't want him divulging the good or bad days, but
that's hilarious.
But yeah, no, that's real. It's hard to kind of attack the mental side of that. As far as, training every day, there's like this expectation of like, I want to feel good every day, and I've been working out and on my diet for this long, and like I feel like I should look a certain type of way by now, but everybody's different. People got different genetics. It's like
genetics is a big deal.
Huge.
You go online, and you're like, wow, this guy's shredded, or that's like who I would want to look like, or you kind of have an idea, but that may not even be possible, with your genetic makeup. But I think it's just like one of the hardest parts is just focusing on, like you said, how I feel in the gym, how I'm performing, and then making it a lifestyle so that, in 3-4 years, if you're keeping that up, then you don't have anything to worry about in that realm. Especially like you won't have both you getting your blood work right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Keep tabs on the internals because, 3, 4, 10 years from now, doing all this stuff right. And your internals are good and the body will follow. But to your point, I mean, just learning a little bit about the bodybuilding space, like you'd think all those top bodybuilders, they're on gear, but there's a huge genetic component to their physiques also. Like there's a lot of people, it doesn't matter how much gear you take, you simply aren't going to get to Mr. Olympia.
Yeah.
Like without the genetics.
Yep.
Same with professional sports.
Yep.
It's like genetics actually do play a big deal with that. And I think the social media space really, fucks that up for men and women. The expectations of what you're trying to chase and how to put in a bucket for yourself.
Yeah. I think having a better understanding of like what you truly are capable of, or like your genetics. I guess you can never really know that, right? But my biggest wake up call to that was when I went to college and I was like meeting all these, my teammates, and there's some kids I'll never forget. We had this kid, Terry, who's 5'9", probably 215 pounds, just yoked, could stand under a basketball hoop and dunk off 2 feet. And it's like those kind of genetics and athleticism, right? Like I will never have that. And a lot of people probably won't, but I'm like, okay, I understand that. I may not be like that, but like I can still find a better version of myself, or like better where I'm at athletically. And that's where I started to find like, I don't want to say happiness or whatever, but wins within myself, like getting better on a personal level and not like looking at, oh, what's this guy doing or that guy, or how does this guy look or whatever. So
I think that's when the maturity as we get older, you start focusing on the fact like, did I do the work today to improve myself by, a small amount?
Yeah.
Small amount. Sometimes that improvement comes from taking a rest day, just constant state of personal growth for yourself. Are you doing the best that you can do? Are you eating well? Are there areas to clean up? Are we sleeping well? Or how's our stress management? All the stuff. Are we being consistent?
Yeah.
When people ask me about how I work out, it's like I've become a master of consistency. There's no rocket science to how I train.
Yeah.
I do group class plus a little extra here and there, but like I've become the master of consistency over the last 2 years, training 5 to 7 days a week and honestly listening to my body to a whole nother level. And you start doing that with nutrition.
Yeah.
Things really change. Like I've said on here before, I don't hide the fact that I'm on testosterone replacement therapy. I think it's part of anybody's health nowadays to know their hormones, know where they're at, do everything naturally. And then if you need medical intervention to be the best, healthiest version of yourself, I 100% support it, because there's so many things in our environment that disrupt our endocrine systems. And that's why I tell you to know your labs at your young age. You showed me your labs at one time. I was like, well, let's clean it up for a while and see where we end up at before we just jump in, especially because you want kids and stuff. But I think the whole health picture matters. And even though like neither of you are chasing athletic dreams, being the best version of yourselves is going to also facilitate better athletic performances.
Yeah.
And then where you're both dialing in your nutrition and working on that in a pretty focused way over the last, 6-7 months for sure. I mean, you've been sending me pictures of your ground beef a little more often.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's going to start paying dividends. You're going to see that. It's awesome. Love it. What do you guys think your biggest win is in the gym? Biggest accomplishment?
In the gym overall?
Yeah, here.
God, I'd say
Getting in the cold plunge?
getting in the cold plunge is a huge success because right now it does take me about 5 or so minutes to actually get in. I'd say one of the cooler things here that I've done is snatch 225. That's one of my favorite memories here because I know Carl and I were like eyeing that for a long time. And we're working towards that, and we finally were able to do that. I thought that was a cool accomplishment.
That's a big accomplishment. Like, it's pretty massive.
It's heavy.
Yep.
It's heavy, yeah, and I
It's
remember
heavy. It takes a very high level of athleticism.
Yeah.
Like, snatching is no joke.
Yeah.
So to snatch 225 is a big milestone. That's badass.
I remember the first class I came to. Carl brought me at 5 a.m. and it was I think like pull ups and then there were snatches in it, and I had no idea how to kip, and I sure as hell never snatched before ever. So I think those were like a couple of things that I wanted to learn. You know, it's like, hey, I want to be able to do this like everybody else. So I kind of had a chip on my shoulder, like, hey, I need to learn this. Or it would be, to see other guys like Paul and Alan at 5 a.m. like put up some serious weight. I'm like, yo, that's pretty badass. So to be able to do something like that would be pretty legit.
Paul's a freak.
That guy's an animal.
Yeah. Like, if there was a guy in the gym that I strive to be like, it's Paul.
Guy's different.
Yeah, he's different. Like, strong, powerful,
Yeah.
and moves so well. Like,
Super nice. Not mean at all.
Yeah, yeah.
Lots of
Hey,
sarcasm.
in the locker room, you better make sure that the bench is clear. Okay, no backpacks on there. Okay, make sure it's clean. Make sure.
What's funny about you with snatching is you're a pitcher. You've had Tommy John surgery, haven't you?
Yeah, a couple times.
Couple times.
2 times.
Nice. And you're still doing that. But what I find interesting with baseball players is their core to extremity movement. Like, they do pick up the Olympic lifts quicker than a lot of people. And obviously you're very athletic, so that all translated. But like, you have a significantly bigger back squat than him, right?
At least
I
at
think
one
so.
point in time, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he was. What were you doing back in college? Like 500 pounds or something like that?
I mean, I've
Squatted
watched
500 at 183 pounds.
Yeah. I mean, I've watched you squat in here, and I'm just like, Jesus.
Yeah, that's
Good Lord.
insane. I mean, he was putting up 405 in here like nothing back in the day.
And fast, like, very fast.
Yeah.
And then, like, being a pitcher, just fascinating because there's been a couple of them in here. Like, they do pick up the Olympic lifting way quicker. You're one of them.
Yeah, I think I just got lucky because as a pitcher, we did a ton of mobility, a ton of shoulder work and stuff like that. So I think I was set up better than I think most people would be that aren't doing those extra movements and strengthening. So that definitely set me
Y'all
up
got
for success.
fat asses, too. I've got that, like, puffy butt.
Yeah, you're right, coach.
A lot of power to throw that baseball. What was your fastest pitch in college?
I got up to 95, 96 a couple of times.
Okay.
But I didn't live there,
All right.
unfortunately. But yeah, I topped out at 96 a couple of times.
Where is, like, the standard now for speed in college baseball?
God, I mean, I think college varies because there's such a variety of levels. But I mean, you see guys in the SEC, ACC, right, the highest level of D1, and those guys are throwing 95, and it looks effortless. And you got a guy who's 19 years old and he's throwing 100,
Jesus.
and that's in college, and it was rare. I mean, it was still possible, but when I was in college, and we're talking like 2015 to 2018. Like, there are a couple guys who were, that we heard of that were throwing that hard, but just how prevalent it is now to have a guy who comes into college and he's throwing 98 to 100, that's honestly normal. and you get up to the big leagues, and that's everybody's throwing that if they want to.
That's crazy. What about you? What's your biggest fitness win in the gym?
Honestly, I'm
Beating
not,
me at workouts?
Yeah, maybe a couple years ago. Nah, I don't know. Honestly, I can't really call it. I think my coolest moment, I guess, was like representing Double Edge at a competition. You know, the one Key and I did, and we somehow caught a podium.
Yeah.
A couple years back, 3 years ago now, something like that. That to me felt the best. But I mean, in terms of like weightlifting, things like that, I've never PR'd or anything since college or anything.
When do you think you're going to hang up the college PRs? Or have you?
Like going after them? Or
Yeah, like I have to imagine that you're not chasing your college back squat PR anymore.
I guess that's a good way of looking at it, because when I hear the word PR, that's what I just think of a lifetime PR that I've done. So, I mean, now that you bring it up, maybe I can kind of reevaluate what a PR is, and that can maybe even optimize my training. Because I've never technically PR'd here in my mind, but it's probably a bad way of looking at it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get at. I think for you, it's definitely would be advantageous for you to just like, that doesn't mean it might not ever happen again.
Yeah.
But I would say it'd be advantageous of you to just kind of, because you still move a lot of weight, and it's impressive. But I wouldn't keep comparing yourself to those days.
Yeah. No, and I don't want to say I'm like comparing it. I guess I just never, relooked at it the way you just kind of made me look at it. So, yeah, I mean, I've done some things that I'm proud of within myself. Cleaning over 300 pounds, snatching 225, and
getting ring muscle ups, getting bar muscle ups,
ring, bar, things like that, and putting on for Double Edge at least a few years ago. So I mean, that was cool to me, and that's what like really drew me into CrossFit. It was like the first class I ever came to at 5 a.m. I just thought like, oh, I'm an athlete. Like I have to do all this, in this amount of time. And then I don't remember the exact workout. I just remember I got on that rower and was fucking dead. Didn't finish the workout, and that was just like the most like, oh shit, humbling, like pissed off, right? And then that's kind of what like fueled me, and like brought me in right away. And I was like, oh shit, okay.
It's funny how a workout like that will do it. Like it doesn't look bad on paper, and then you get it. As I remember, my first CrossFit workout was bar facing burpees and light deadlifts. I think it was like 135-pound deadlifts. And right when I just kind of got around CrossFit, didn't even have my level 1 yet.
Yeah.
And this guy at this gym I was working at, it was like a little gym challenge he was doing. Who can do, I think it was either 5 down to 1 or 10 down to 1.
Yeah.
Deadlifts and bar facing burpees. It's like, what?
Yeah.
What? And he's like, all right, 3, 2, 1, go. Get it done as fast as you can. I was wrecked.
Yeah.
Wrecked from that.
Yeah, and I mean, it was just a group class.
Yep.
And no one else in the entire class probably gave a shit about it, right? But it was like my first time getting back in the gym, and, stepping out of the lines from football, and it was like, oh shit. That's what I said. I was weighing like 215 pounds, out of shape. I was like, okay. Now it just reignited that competitiveness, and it was on. Lost 30 pounds in, I think, like 2.5 months, and just kind of got right back on.
I remember that. I remember Trent always telling me about this guy, Carl. I wasn't in at 5 in the morning very much, but you definitely were one of his big like transformation stories of coming in and just like grinding and growing at a rapid rate.
Yeah, I was definitely a lot younger, so I think my body was able to adapt.
Sorry, 24
a little bit.
back then, 25. How old are you now?
Yeah, I turned 30.
30. Yeah.
Chill.
Both of you about tipping over the hill.
Oh, I'm 29, coach. I'm young. Younger, I guess.
Yeah, early 20s, somewhere around there. But yeah, that was like my biggest thing. Was like I came in, I was like, holy shit, and just it instantly reignited my flame to like just compete, not only with anyone else, but just within myself, because like I knew I can do better and perform better, and so just kind of took off from there.
Hell yeah. So I know both of you just wake up flaming fire, ready to slay, both professionally and in the gym and in your relationships, every aspect of your life. And you probably, right out of bed, pull up David Goggins, who's going to carry the boat, go check out the mirror. But in all fun, you guys are a different chapter of your life. And oftentimes when people get into this chapter, I don't want to say marriage. I mean, I know you're looking at marriage. I don't know if it's premature yet or not. I mean, you and Liz seem like a really good deal, but you're different chapters of your life. What do you guys use now for inspiration, or hate the word motivation because I had this guy tell me that, I don't know, you guys know BP? He's like Marine Corps, like serious Marine Corps, seen some shit, badass dude. Nicest guy in the world, but if you know, like you're scared, you're kind of nervous to be around him.
He goes here?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't think I know him.
He told me that motivation's an inflatable backbone. It just deflates all the time. You got to find something that truly inspires you to the core to hold on to when you're down. Like he met with me during COVID and gave me one of those pep talks, like you kind of don't come back from. Like you got to figure out your why, your what, because not every day is easy. Yeah. And a little bit of motivation comes, like, you know, you watch some Gary Brecka and you want to go on 3-day fast and sauna and stuff all the time.
Wow, that's a jab. That's a jab.
Not at all. Not at all. Get, you know, $600 and whatever that Labs was and did you buy their supplements?
Yeah, I still am taking that multivitamin right now for them, but I think it's helping for sure. The blood test, I think I definitely overspent on that, but I think it definitely started my consciousness and you know, knowledge and kind of fire to learn more about that side. So I'm thankful that I did it, but I'm glad I was able to save some people from spending that much.
I remember telling you, I was like, let me know how it goes, because I ain't trying to spend that kind of money on some blood work.
It wasn't as personalized, but you know, that I got help from there, so that was good.
I mean, all fun and games aside, it definitely is a starting point for making some life changes. I'm not a big fan of fasting.Maybe that's me being resistant to wrestling lifestyle and how much it can affect your endocrine system. But for some folks, it can be a valuable tool done correctly. Yeah, back to what I was saying, you know, besides David Goggins and obviously Gary Brecka, what fires you guys up? Like, what gets you going?
Shoot, man. I mean, not to be cliche, but like my family, you know, they're obviously a big motivation, and, you know, I'm very close with them, but I also just oddly feel that I have a decent like self-motivation, and I can kind of catch myself when I know like I'm, you know, not motivated or not giving it all, and, you know, either course correct or do what I need to do, take a few days off and figure it out. So it's, you know, outside of my family, I think I'm just kind of a little bit self-motivated.
I mean, just from what I know of you, you're one of the hardest workers all the way around that I've met. Like, between your job, here in the gym, sometimes you're in here, oftentimes twice a day, still working full time. Like, and I also think that also comes with being an athlete.
Yeah. I mean, just no one's going to get it done for you. It's kind of going to be the way I always looked at it. You can feel sorry for yourself all you want, but like that's not going to change anything.
I think that's one of the biggest things I love about fitness is like, it doesn't matter how much drugs you take. It doesn't matter how much this, that, and the other. At the end of the day, you can't buy it. You can't get it from some hand-me-out program. Somebody can't give it to you, and it's earned.
Yeah, and I
like,
just,
no matter what,
I get extreme satisfaction of like I don't know, winning or like accomplishing even just in a workout. You know, like, oh, I want to get this time, and hitting that time, as meaningless as it is, like,
no, it's micro goals that like stack wins. Up. Yep.
Like, oh shit, I can finish this workout in under 10 minutes, or even when you're throwing times at me to finish a workout some mornings and I do it, like, they're just small wins that keep me motivated, like, within myself.
100%. I think people devalue how important small victories are in setting those small goals, because it creates momentum.
Yeah, I mean, because if you think about it, like, what are big wins? They're just, in my opinion, accumulation of small wins that lead up to maybe one goal that you had, or if you know, however you want to look at it. Because I don't know, I'm not gonna get a huge win in the gym. I'm gonna get a ton of little wins. I'm gonna keep progressing, but the big win is just the accumulation of all your small wins. I don't know. I guess it depends how you look at it.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give my thoughts on that. What about you? What's your drivers?
Say driving me right now, I mean, being a role model for my brothers and sisters for sure. And then, you know, I have Chloe at home, and I guess a lot of motivation right now, right, is I just quit my job, right, to kind of sell out on being a firefighter. And when I'm working out right now, I'm kind of thinking that, you know, she's obviously helped me, you know, we're sacrificing, you know, one income, and she's been on board with, you know, making it work. And now I'm in a spot where it's like, yeah, my back is kind of up against the wall, so I got to get it done, you know, and there's no other choice. So, you know, that's all in my head, you know, and she's working hard. So I want to make sure that, you know, I make them proud, and I come through. And also an extension of that is like, hey, I'm gonna be a first responder. I'm gonna be on the front line. Like, I got to be able to handle that shit, and I got to be able to come through, you know, more than the average person would.
Yep.
So I'm thinking about that, and just all the extra work that is gonna have to come along with that.
Love it. I mean, putting your back against the wall is one of the most powerful places somebody can be in. I mean, if you want to accomplish something big, put yourself in a position that you have no other choice.
Absolutely. And
it's amazing what can be accomplished from the human, what you want to say, animal instinct spirit of got to get this done. I mean, that was a tipping point for me during the COVID years. Like, what am I going to do? Quit?
Right.
Nope. We're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
And back's against the wall. You just figure it out. And it's good. First responders, it's an interesting place in the fitness world. I have some gripe with first responders and the inability that they take care of themselves. It's frustrating that a lot of the first responder entities, police, fire, paramedics, probably not as much, but still they got grueling hours that they don't get the support from their higher ups, their union reps, whatever you want to call it, to prioritize health and fitness. From a couple aspects, mental health, they deal with some shit.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and see some shit. And fitness is by far one of the best things you can do for your mental health, not to mention their long-term health.
Yeah.
Like, it is a grueling ass job. I know firefighters, you know, you guys just sit around and cook and do nothing until it's literally the moment to put your life on the line to save somebody. That was a jab. Yeah.
I got that one.
But and work out a lot. Yes, you guys are the glorified just get to exercise all day until there's that random fire that happens.
Yeah.
But the reality is all of them have very stressful, life-shortening jobs. And they don't get the support and resources and, I want to say the word incentives, but the accountability to maintain a certain level of health and fitness. And I think that's, I mean, some of them might come after me after saying this, but I think that's disgusting. That there is no standard of health and fitness amongst the first responder community outside of what somebody self-imposes on themselves. Like, listening to what the fitness requirements are to even get hired, and then to hear that there's no standard to maintain, it blows my mind. Because not only in your life be on the line if you have a lack of fitness in that profession, but like, if my partner is not fit and this fool's going to save my life or need to, like, oh, hell no.
I've heard the same things about like surgeons and stuff, like running on no sleep and
oh fuck yeah. You don't want to be the last guy at the end of a surgeon's shift that day.
Yeah.
You know, doctors I also have bones to pick with because the healthcare industry is not, they're not examples of health either.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
Crazy.
Yeah, I've gone down a rabbit hole on that one recently.
It's like a huge topic right now.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with all this stuff emerging, and, you know, like Gary Brecka and
the longevity space of health. And then you have the so-called leaders in the health space not being healthy.
Yeah.
At all. It's, I mean, I hate to say it, we live in a society that doesn't prioritize health and fitness in unfortunately, a community of people become the sum of the average of the people. And when the average of the people that most people are surrounded with suck, like you're going to become the average of that.
Yeah.
And I think also in our gym, we're fortunate enough to be surrounded by really fit, healthy people striving to be the best versions of themselves pretty constantly. And then we start comparing ourselves amongst each other. And all you got to do is take a little walk outside these doors and you're like, I'm literally in the top 0.1% of society's health.
I can't remember the stat exactly, but it was just so mind-blowing. It was like, you know, a certain percentage of America can't even, you know, jog a mile or something like that.
No. And like, I want to say...
And it was an alarming, like, percentage of people. And it was...
Like 90% of men after age 30 will never sprint again.
Yeah, I was like, damn.
Age 30, never sprint again. Like, what? Like, men that can't do pull-ups, push-ups, can't do anything. Like, we're just a physically incapable society. Yeah. And I hate to sound so negative about it, and it's frustrating. And being quote-unquote fitness leader, it's something I think about often is how do you help people take that step forward to overcome the quote-unquote, you know, dad bod mentality to start striving for excellence in your health and fitness, whether it be for yourself, for your family, for the people you work with. It's very interesting thought experiment on why some people, a lot of people, the majority of our culture, and I get it, you know, a lot of houses need 2 incomes. Then you got to juggle kids and you got, you know, 8-10 hours a day of work, and our society rewards climbing the corporate chain, if you will.
Yeah.
But I do believe there's a shift coming.
I hope so.
Where people are starting to wake up and like, pills aren't going to, you know, help me thrive for the rest of my life. And I don't want that. Yeah. And I have to take agency for my own health. And the younger you can start, the better.
Yeah.
So as you guys journey into this next chapter of your life and whatnot, I'm going to be holding you pretty accountable.
As you always have.
No dad bod life.
No, absolutely not.
We're going to keep grinding.
We're trying to break that chain for sure.
It's honestly your generation that needs to.
Yeah.
Like my generation, it kind of got sucked into it. I mean, I see it at my kids' sports and this and that. And like, you just look at this, you know, pretty massive field with, you know, 10 different soccer teams, for instance, right now. And you just glance around and, you know, everybody's super nice, but I ain't trying to go to war with any of these people.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, I don't know if they could play, you know, kids soccer for 30 minutes. And the lack of physical capacity amongst, you know, a lot of society, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And I wish I knew how to obviously motivate the masses, but it comes down to just what I've had to wrap my head around is how can I influence one person at a time?
Yeah.
You know, and try to do it. I try not to be that walking dick face guy, and I guess be a little more empathetic, but also you got to call people on their shit and their excuses.
Yeah.
You know, because there's a lot of excuses out there in my mind. Like you can find an hour a day, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you got time right now. We know that, but I mean, you still find the time damn near every single day.
Yeah. There's, to your point on that, like there is always an hour you can find.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I first started coming here at 5 a.m., I was in the office at 3 a.m. We'd be in the office.
Yeah.
We'd start our shift. We'd start working, whatever, change at work, jam down here, hit the workout, no shower, right back to the office, work all day. And then, you know, the first couple of years I was still in school. So I was going to night classes too.
Yep.
Maybe, you know, 4 hours, 5 hours on a good night of sleep. And just, you know, I don't
build the mental muscle. It's probably not the healthiest thing long term, but you still.
I was in my early 20s. I definitely don't condone that. Like I don't know if I definitely wouldn't want to do that again, but
there's no question you can find it and grind it.
You can definitely find it for sure. Yeah. That's why 5 a.m. is like a big deal for me, because if I don't go to 5 a.m., the odds of me being able to go to noon, you know, is less likely. And then the afternoon is like, forget about it.
Yeah.
So like that's my time.
Yep. And you get it done. I mean, some days you're at the gym before I am.
Sometimes.
Yep.
Sometimes.
So that's pretty awesome. next topic, mental health. May happens to be Mental Health Awareness Month, if you guys didn't know that.
Did not know that.
So I'm going to be, you're going to see me on the gram harping and moaning about mental health. But in all fun, I think it's a massive deal that's not discussed at all. And I think it's kind of like it shows weakness if you talk about how you're struggling with anxiety or, some depressive symptoms. I also think some people take it a little too far and use it as a crutch for everything else.
Yeah.
But I am a big advocate of mental health.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's super important and should be taken as serious in the medical community as, your arm getting crushed. I mean, obviously, your leg getting lopped off in a car wreck is more acute than dealing with some anxiety when it comes to your life. But there's no question that the mental health of our society in general, it's tragic. And I personally feel fitness is a primary tool for myself when it comes to managing my anxiety.
Yeah.
I tend to and can get very anxious, which going on long enough will lead me to being, my wife she told me I had to go to therapy, like depressive symptoms and like struggling. And then for me, it's either alcohol or exercise.
Yeah.
That's my turn to use, like to manage anxiety. And
I mean, I think
both of them went sideways, right? So overtrain, beat myself down in the gym, and leads to injury, which in turn leads to I can't do what I love doing, and then I get frustrated, and I'm barely working out 2 or 3 days a week. And, I own this gym. I need to be a leader. You start going down that spiraling deal.
Yeah.
And then have some drinks, end of the day, 1, 2, 3 drinks to kind of curb the anxiousness. You think you sleep well, but then you wake up the next day and anxiety is like 2, 3 notches higher than it was the day before. And that, for me, ends up into another downward spiral.
Yeah.
It's all not good.
Yeah.
How do you guys manage, mental fatigue, stress, anxiety? Do you deal with anything like that? If you want to chat about it, if not, totally get it. But I'm not here to be a therapist. But I also think that men are supposed to lock their stuff inside and not talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say, in the past, I mean, still kind of what you mentioned, like keeping a lot of stuff in, bottling a lot of stuff up is kind of, I guess, how I've dealt with the majority of things. I like to process a ton internally, and sometimes that's good for me. Sometimes I really stand by that and feel like I have a good head on my shoulders where I can do that, but I've also seen that react negatively, when that kind of boils up and comes out in other ways. But yeah, I mean, just with the mix of what working at ITS and the stress level and time commitment that comes with that, like I wasn't in the best place probably for a couple years, early years that I first started at Double Edge. But I think I was missing that kind of competitive and athleticism and kind of just moving my body around, but for a purpose, not just going to the gym just to go to the gym because that's what I do now. I'm done with sports. But I'd definitely say coming to the gym has helped a ton with my mentality, with my mindset too, and kind of put me in a better place. Then to come along with that too, it's like, okay, when I'm into working out, right, then it's gonna lead me to take better care of myself, and that's what the gym has done for me.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely say the same. When I, like I said, when I first came to Double Edge, I was 215 pounds and, probably a little over a year removed from football. And during that time, I was definitely kind of going through it, myself. And the mentality has always been just like, deal with it. Like, I'm not going to talk to anybody about it. I'm not going to, go to therapy about it or whatever. And there I found myself, like I said, 215 pounds, drinking multiple nights a week, just like not doing shit. And I was like, fuck, I gotta make a change. Like, this is not right. Yeah. Like I'd be coming home, sleeping on the couch. My brothers would leave for school and they'd be coming back from school. I'd still be sleeping on the couch and just like a huge piece of shit, And I was like, but I was so upset because I was like, my mind was so set on going Division I and going big time and things like that. So as soon as it didn't happen, I just like didn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
And then so, you know, year goes by, whatever, just not taking care of myself, doing stupid shit and not taking care of my body and drinking, and then found Double Edge, and it was like, oh shit, like the physical aspect of getting back after it just changed completely. Like I want to get in shape more than I want to do anything else. I want to, you know, clean 315 better than I want to do anything else. Like that was my, like that's my main motivation, is like getting better. And then the competition, you know, aspect of it is like just set it over the top, because there's nothing better than competing in my mind.
Yeah. No, and I mean, this last weekend for me, like I love competing.
Yeah.
You know, and finding those areas that you can compete in and push yourself and challenge yourself. I think it's healthy.
Definitely.
You know, it brings out the best in you.
I agree.
It can bring out bad parts of some people. They get a little weird about it. But I do think it is healthy. And I think that is one of the big upsides of the CrossFit environment, but it has to be kept in its bucket.
Yeah.
Like it's just too easy to get, especially when you're an athletic background, to get competitive every single day.
Yep.
You know, and now that you guys are 30 and, you know, getting up there in the years, it's important to listen to your body.
Yeah.
You know, if you're feeling good, push.
Yeah.
If you need a down day, it doesn't mean we don't move.
Yeah.
But it means we have a down day. That's totally fine. Human body's not meant to be 100% every single day.
Yeah.
You know, so you have to balance out both mentally and physically, you know, what's going on. Like you can't come in here and push if you got a bunch of stuff outside the gym going on.
Yeah.
You know, that's hard to do. I mean, there's quite a few months there for me. We're trying to figure out Claire's stuff. It was just about moving.
Yeah.
You know, maintain best I can, and more for my mental health, just move so that, you know, I can deal with the stresses in other areas of my life, because it's inevitable.
Yeah.
Like there's always going to be something that pops up in life to smack you upside the head when you didn't see it. And another thing I think society is missing as a whole in a big way is resilience. Like the ability to deal with stress, the ability to deal with unfortunate circumstances and situations. And I think one of the few places that nowadays, I mean, you guys ever watch that show? Like, what is it? 1984 Yellowstone, like the prequels to Yellowstone.
Yeah.
With Tim McGraw.
Not yet.
So they're basically coming up the Oregon Trail as a family.
Yeah.
And then the Dutton family establishes their compound in Montana, whatever. But like getting the history of the Oregon Trail.
Yeah.
That's a different level of resilience.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, these motherfuckers get on a boat in Ireland or something, come over the ocean.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to go get this plot of land up here, and we're going to have 17 kids because, you know, 15 of them are probably going to die on the way, and we need a couple to carry on the legacy.
Yeah.
And it's just like every single day is adversity.
Yeah.
And nowadays, I mean, as far as society in general, life's pretty cushy for the majority of people. I mean, if it wasn't, we wouldn't have the obesity problem in our country. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the hardships of life are definitely different now than it was 50, 60, 100 years ago. And with that, I think people's inability to deal with stress, difficult circumstances is like really gone out the wayside.
Yeah.
And like, I think sports is a great way, for children to develop, some resiliency.
Yeah.
But personally, I think one of the best places nowadays to develop mental toughness and resiliency is in a gym.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like getting in here, doing things you didn't think you could do, pushing a little harder, holding yourself accountable to showing up.
Yeah.
Like that in itself can be very difficult and be a challenge to overcome. Like I made this promise to myself, like I'm going to hit these goals.
Yeah.
I'm going to get in and get it done. And overcoming what gets thrown at you during the day is a place to build resiliency, not just health and fitness. It's important, but I think all that does really work together.
Yeah.
And obviously you guys have overcome things and overcome excuses creeping into your thought process throughout the day.
Yeah. I mean, just the I can't statement.
Yeah.
It sounds cliche, but like I hear it every day. Every day at work or just whatever, my younger brothers, it's just like, dude, like that, as soon as you have that in your head and you start thinking that I can't, then you won't.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. If I can't make the time, don't have the time, it's like, no, it's not a priority.
Yeah, legitimately. Like, oh, I can't go to the gym today. Probably can.
You probably can.
You probably can.
Yeah,
Find a way
I
to
would
go to the
argue
gym.
that majority of people can find an hour to do something physical for their health.
Yeah.
And I mean, just look at your screen time app on your phone. Like, it's amazing how much time I still rack up on that damn thing.
Yeah. Scary.
It is. How much is your gone up?
God, I haven't looked, but I'm trying to spend a lot of time here as opposed
You
to
have been.
anywhere else. But no, yeah, I think just throughout our journeys, our fitness journey, I think going back and forth and at certain times, like I'd say just the start of this year, right? Like one of the biggest wins I would consider a big win is just making showing up to the gym. Being a non-negotiable, like at the time when I started to get after it or try to make the decision to say like, hey, we're going to get after this and we're going to stick to the diet and we're going to work out. I mean, showing up to a group class when you said you're going to, or getting something in, whether it's like, hey, I can't make group class, so I gotta come early, do some work on the side. I mean, that's a non-negotiable for you, and you do that. That's a huge win. So kind of just building off that, but to kind of what Carl was saying, as soon as you kind of start making excuses or you're like, oh, I can't really do that, or something's kind of tight, it's just that's you saying like, oh, I can't make that work, or you probably won't, or you don't want to, and just kind of making your routine, or hey, I'm going to go to the gym, or I'm going to do this, and making that a non-negotiable is like the biggest part of getting started, and just like holding yourself accountable. And then when you do hold yourself accountable and you follow through, it's like that becomes a habit. It's like no big deal. And then you feel good.
Yeah.
It's like self-rewarding prophecy.
Exactly.
Like when you could look back on your week and did you do what you promised yourself you're going to do, versus getting to Friday and be like, I had this excuse, and then I'll start again on Monday, and then it doesn't happen. Do the inverse of that, and you find out how quickly you can build momentum.
Yeah, I mean, it's a snowball effect, and it works both ways.
It works both ways.
You start slacking in the gym, you take one day off, next thing you know, it's 3, and it's a week, and it's like, holy shit, I haven't been in the gym in 2 weeks. And I've definitely done that with my job. I've gone months, unfortunately, during peak seasons where I'm like, shit, like I haven't been in the gym in legitimately 2 months just because I'm working every day. But looking back, like I know I could have found an hour to come back in and make, any kind of a difference for myself. And that's like now, like I'm in such a good like rhythm where I'm like, the snowball effect is the other way. Like, I'm like, oh shit, I can't wait for tomorrow to work out tomorrow, or Saturday's workout or whatever. And like we're training for a half marathon. Like shit, I can't wait for the next run. Yeah. So like it's cool to see how like it can definitely work both ways, and it's obviously a lot more rewarding.
Do you feel that when you start creating momentum in the gym, it spills over into other, like your family life, your professional life?
Absolutely.
And everything.
I think it's all correlated.
Yeah, definitely. My college coach always said he'd always tell us, he's like, you guys are afraid to succeed. It's like you're scared of the succession. I never understood that, because we would lose games and all that. We'd put in the work, and I'm like, why is he telling us that we don't want to win, or we're afraid to succeed? Like that makes no sense. Then after I graduated and everything, I was like, oh my God, I totally kind of understand what he meant by that. And it's just when you do succeed and you do finally hit that point, then you have to hold yourself to that next line of accountability. And it's like, okay, like I don't want to succeed here. I don't want to get the big hit in that situation. I don't want to strike this guy out to win the game or come through big and whatever it is, because, oh shit, like that's the next line for me. Like, and now next time I want to be held to that level, right? I'm going to be expected to come in and be the guy to get the job done. And it's crazy how that, I wanted to win. I was a competitor in college. I wanted to play at the next level, but like it took me, I'd say a couple years after I graduated to finally like take that to heart, and that resonated with me. I was like, holy shit. Like that's what he meant. Like he wasn't just being an asshole saying like, you guys are soft and you guys don't want to win. Yeah. So that's something that I mean, I haven't forgotten that since. So I honestly, I love that now.
Yeah, no, it's powerful. Being scared to hold yourself to this new standard. And I think it's also a fear of failure, right?
Yeah.
Like you move up to whatever this is, and then the fear of regression.
Yeah.
And and I think that's what comes back to the micro wins, the micro goals. You just keep building on that point. The cool thing about fitness, as you keep building, it takes a lot of work to get, here and here. But once you get to a certain level, like it's okay to go kind of in the maintenance zone, and you can maintain pretty well, especially if your goal and focus is long-term health and fitness.
Yeah.
Like I'm still trying to improve, but I'm not trying to push the envelope to where it's like, Olympics or shit like that. Like, you can constantly make improvements and growth. And the biggest thing is consistency.
Yeah.
Like it is the single most important thing. It's not rocket science training. It's consistency in what you put in your mouth. It's consistency in the gym, and it just keeps stacking up.
Yeah.
And it keeps stacking up. And then your new baseline gets a little higher, gets a little higher. And if you have a chapter of your life that sets you back, the good thing is, we'll call it a stretch reflex, like muscle memory. It's much easier to retract a little bit, and your body actually bounces back even quicker.
Yep.
Now, if you totally shut it off and just give up on yourself, like that's not a long-term success plan. But there are moments where you can go 6-8 weeks, and it's not ideal.
Yeah.
But if you've put in all the base work leading up to that, it's going to bounce back as long as you start getting back after it. I will say the older you get, when you take time off, you got to be really intelligent about the comeback.
100%.
I want to say I get anxious about it, but I try to be much more intentional now about my time off from the gym.
Yep.
And there's going to be, a week or 2 weeks here, I'm not going to get much in and this and that. And like just making sure you're doing enough to maintain, because that's one thing I've noticed in the last couple of years is the bounce back is a little different.
Yeah.
Still happens.
Oh yeah.
And that's just something to definitely be mindful of as you keep grinding to the higher standard. And
I definitely feel it now a whole lot more than my early 20s.
Yeah.
Like the bounce back came, like I said, like my first year in the gym, it was like I'm right back.
Dude, my early 20s, I had some of my best workouts and PRs hungover.
Yeah.
Like
Crazy how that works.
How the body, like I was just carb loading. All those beers.
Oh, yeah. Now it's like I can't. I mean, if we have some drinks a night for whatever reason, it's like the next day I'm like, fuck. Or if I take a few days off of the gym, I feel like I lost a shit ton of progress. And that, I mean, maybe it's the case, maybe it's not, but I definitely feel it. Or like mentally, it's like when I'm thinking, I'm like, shit, I'm taking 10 steps backwards just because I'm taking a few days off, or I'm not eating or drinking.
And sometimes those few days off also launch the next chapter forward.
Yeah.
Because your body actually heals and recovers. So being very intentional about the training time, knowing your body and when it's a good time to back off is extremely valuable, especially as we get older.
Yeah.
Because like healing and recovery matter. I find with myself, if I haven't moved for 3-4 days, I start getting really stiff.
Yeah.
And I don't feel good.
Yeah.
But oftentimes the comeback will be a new PR.
Yeah.
Body's feeling better, it's recovered, but it's not like it take 4 days off and come back and PR that Monday. It's usually like after a good week of nice training again, and then the body's just like snapping back.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of PRs come after some sort of, break or rest, and then you get back into it.
Yep.
For me anyways.
But in my mind, you have to earn that time off because you put in a bunch of work. So
making sure you're taking the time off appropriately as far as still taking care of yourselves.
Yep, exactly. Well, I don't got a whole lot more here, guys. Got any last minute tips and tricks for the potential newbie looking to try to come into the gym? Not be intimidated by it.
Don't be intimidated by 5 a.m.
Maybe start out not with 5 a.m. Work your way down from 4:30.
4:30 is the one you pick, huh? Because that's like the afternoon class that has a reputation.
I'd say every class here has a reputation. I mean, let's just be honest.
Well, let's talk about that real quick. The small community, you've been around a lot of classes. You come in the afternoon and mornings, but every single class in this gym has its own community.
Yeah.
Like its own network of friends. Like both 100%. Of you guys are pretty connected across multiple classes with people that you didn't meet till here.
Yeah.
Like it's a big deal, and I don't want it to sound scary, but it is a big thing. Like every class is its own.
Yeah, I was actually gonna call that out as one of my gym wins.
Yeah.
Like non-athletic is like I did make a ton of friends, and like I have a different network of friends from different classes.
Yeah.
5 a.m., noon, afternoon. Like it's cool. Like I got some really good people in my corner, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the community here is awesome. I mean, when I don't want to scare people when I say like, hey, 5 a.m. is tough to kind of integrate into, but at the same time, like the community here is built up of members who are absolutely getting after it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, sure, like a little bit older, but some of the most consistent people I've ever seen, right? To the point where it's like if I don't hear somebody's going on vacation and they don't show up to class, I'm like, well, what's wrong?
Yeah.
And I think that there's a lot of pride and there's a lot of respect. So when you go into a new class, it's like they'll welcome you with open arms, but you need to earn. It's almost like you need to earn the respect of like, hey, I'm joining the community to get after it. I want to be fit, and then you're accepted. But I think that's just one of the that's one of the things that makes this place so special is that aspect of the community and the culture.
Yeah, I'd say it's a culture of people that hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
So, the new people coming in, like putting in the work, you're going to become part of the community.
Yeah. And it shows like the people who stay here for so long are the people that have the same common goals, or, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The drive to get after and get better.
Yep. And most of them in like every aspect of their life. I mean, I've seen so many people's multiple aspects of their lives improve through fitness. In the community. I mean, I've seen marriages take place, people meet at the gym, multiple, job changes and evolutions, promotions, starting families, like so many positive things outside the gym festered inside the community that has self-built in these walls. And it comes down to one common thing of people working hard together and showing up, putting in the work every day. It becomes infectious.
Yeah.
It's not just me or one other coach. It's a group of people. Like you guys make me better.
Yeah.
In a big way. Like I feel it's important for me to be a leader as much as I can for the fittest people in the gym and try to lead a standard, and it makes me better. And the whole thing works in a circle.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty awesome. Yeah. Not to terrify people from 5 a.m., but I mean, it's a group of diehards who train consistently every single day. And it's a big group. And that's why I took it off the schedule.
Yeah.
Because it was hard for me as a coach to integrate somebody brand new to CrossFit.
Yeah.
And it's just, I want them to have a great experience.
Yeah.
So smaller classes definitely help out with that, just in general.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for an early morning, 5 a.m., 6 a.m. class, I happen to coach 2 days a week at our South location. And, there are little smaller groups down there, very welcoming, warm community also. And,
yeah. I've been to a couple.
That should be my next. That should be my next thing. Is I got to start hitting some South times, get integrated over there. But
you should.
So die hard Midtown, man.
I get it. It was difficult for me to start coaching down there. Like this is my home gym.
Yeah.
This is the one I run. My brother runs that one, and it was like new kid in class feeling.
Yeah.
When I started coaching down there, and now that I've been doing it, for 6, 7, 8, Chris, 8 months now, like they're all rad too.
Yeah.
I mean, every class is different.
Yeah.
Every class has its own personality, its own vibe, and it's all good.
Yeah.
Everybody's there for the same common goal. They're putting in the work.
Exactly. Yeah.
And once you have that foundation, it's like the different personalities, different life experiences that like adds up to multiple levels of value.
Yeah.
I feel like my life has evolved since getting to know more people within their own Double Edge community and getting around to other classes and both gyms. And it's been super cool.
Yeah.
It's been cool. So I've been telling, like I tell South folks, I tell a handful of mid, like get around to the other classes, the other coaches. Like it's cool.
It is.
So take advantage of that. Go down there and share some Midtown love.
Absolutely.
We'll see.
We'll see. Where do you still live in South Arena, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you drive by South Gym coming here.
To come here, yeah.
Flies by South Gym going 95.
No, speed limit guy for sure.
Yeah,
guaranteed. Where do you live? Where's your house?
Northwest.
So you're in the Northwest. All right. So yeah, this is easier.
Yeah, definitely.
No, I mean, I know a handful of folks that live in the Northwest and in Sparks that go to South.
Really?
Drive by Midtown.
Hmm.
I know people in South Reno that come, I mean, besides you, to Midtown. It's like once you have your people, your community, you know, and so forth, your habit, your routine. I mean, you work right up the street. So that also is a big deal. Yeah. But come on, come hit up. You did do that 1.5. What workout did we do? That was a hero workout, wasn't it?
Was it 9/11?
It was 9/11. You came and did with me at South.
Yeah, that was brutal.
That was gross.
Seriously. Doesn't get any easier.
Never. You might get faster at it, but it's still awful.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Sharing your stories.
Yeah.
I feel like I got to know both of you a little better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had no clue you played college football.
Yeah. Played football for 13 years.
Fuck. So you're like every Sunday's just giving up to football? Are you that guy?
No.
I know you're a diehard Raiders fan.
I am, but I don't pay attention as much as you would think.
Yeah. So you're
kind of just. Yeah.
Is the Raiders culture really that strange? Like a bunch of assholes?
You know, I think it depends who you ask. If you ask me, no. We're all pretty nice guys and girls, whatever. But
I followed no professional sports. I never have. I don't no particular reason. Then I just grew up in a house that didn't.
Yeah, no, I mean, sports is a big part of my life, but I wouldn't say I gotta have the game on every night, or I gotta have each and every football game. I'll watch my Raiders play, or I'll watch playoff basketball, watch playoff baseball, things like that. But yeah, definitely not.
You don't live to get to Sunday football?
No, not anymore.
Were you upset when the Raiders moved to Vegas?
I was pretty pissed. I was.
Are you okay with it now? Because you went to school in the Bay Area, so it was kind of a Bay Area thing.
Well, it was like Oakland. Like my first ever professional game was in Oakland. We flew into Oakland from Maui, and my first recollection of a young child of a professional football game was in Oakland, and that's the only other games I've been to. And so like the fan base is just so hardcore, and it was like the coolest feeling. And then like when I went to school there for college, like it was like just dope. My team's right here, and then that's when like Golden State and even the Giants were winning a shit ton of games. So like the city was just vibrant, so fucking awesome to be in, and the people to be around. And so then once they left Oakland, I was like, fuck, man, like they kind of just gutted the city of like the silver and black. But I don't really care anymore. It is what it is. It's all money and politics. I have zero control over, so why worry about it?
Definitely don't have any control over it. What's your favorite team?
No, I'm a Niners guy, but kind of like Carl, I don't really keep up with it that much. I honestly prefer to watch college football on Saturdays when it's in action, if there's like a good primetime game on. But yeah, not too invested in the professional sports realm, at least like I used to be. But playoff time is always the best time. It's when the guys care and they're getting after it. It's fun to watch.
No, I try. And it's funny because being the quintessential gym guy, a lot of members assume that I am like into pro sports. Like, did you watch that game? Did you say, no, man, I have no clue what you're talking about. No.
I don't think you'd be a
UFC annoys the hell out of me.
Really?
Like some of the bigger fights, but the UFC, I don't know, I just never could get into it. In college, I had a moment of like a very brief moment of thinking I wanted to translate wrestling into some UFC, and I just hate getting punched.
Oh yeah.
Got into some fights in college, and like it's not fun.
Yeah.
And nowadays, like, to be honest, if you're gonna get in a fight, I'm gonna walk away, and if it's gonna be like that, just shoot you. Like I ain't trying to throw punches anymore. And like,
I love watching UFC. Let me clarify.
Yeah,
on television.
We're not trying to live that downtown.
I never could get into it. Like I tried to follow it. I wanted to enjoy it because of my wrestling background, and a lot of wrestlers get into UFC and are really good. I don't know. Maybe because every single time it's pay-per-view, and either you got to pay the pay-per-view, and when I had no money, it's like, that sucks, or I have to go hang out at Bullies.
Yeah.
So, it's
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, good points. But we still ride or die. UFC, man. We love it.
Yeah. That's probably the biggest thing I pay attention to nowadays.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have any negative problems with it. I just never got into it. I don't know.
We'll have you over on one of these fight nights.
All right. Yeah, I don't even know who's fighting anymore. I think George St. Pierre was like one of the last guys I've kind of followed.
I mean, one of the goats right there.
Mm-hmm. So, cool. All right, fellas.
Yeah,
Well, let's
appreciate
get back
it,
to
Coach.
work. Thanks
Yeah.
for coming on.
Yeah, appreciate it.
See you sometime. See you at 5.
Yep.